Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am in Israel for the summer and I want to take you to the Kotel and kind of show you the walk there and just talk about it. So come join me. The way that I always go to the Kotel and the way that I recommend for everyone to go to the Kotel is through Shar Yafo, Jaffa Gate. So the way that I usually get there is take the light rail to Ha'iriyah, or in English it's city center, and then walk, and you get to walk past the I Heart Jerusalem sign and just keep going. I love the walk to the old city. I think it's so nice and it really gets me into the mindset. And I also love people watching as I go, and I think it's just really interesting to see who's coming in and out of the old city. Here, as I walk further, I will be approaching Jaffa Gate, and as you'll see, there's a mezuzah on the side, which I've always thought is really cute. So as I walk through Jaffa Gate, if I were to go to the left, that would be to the Arab Shuk towards the Muslim quarter, but I go to the right, so that way I walk through a little bit of the Armenian quarter and then I'm in the Jewish quarter. To explain, the Old City is split up into 4 sections: the Jewish quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Armenian quarter, and the Christian quarter. So to get to the Kotel, you can access it through the Jewish quarter or the Muslim quarter, but I would say the majority of Jews access it through the Jewish quarter. A question that comes up very often when talking about the Kotel and when people are going for the first time is, what do I wear? So the Kotel is the holiest site in Judaism, and Judaism as a religion values modesty. And obviously that can vary from person to person, but I think very standard basic guidelines that I would give to people if they were going to the Kotel for the first time would be everyone should cover their shoulders and cover their knees, whether that be with pants or a skirt. Majority of women there will wear a skirt, and you might be asked to put on a skirt or like a scarf thing around your waist. Additionally, men should cover their head in some way, whether that be with a kippah, a yarmulke, which you can probably get there, or with a hat. Ultimately, use your discretion of how to be respectful, and I'm sure you will figure it out. I've seen a lot of people bring like really thin scarves to put around their shoulders or their heads or their waist. It is customary in Judaism that married women cover their head, so a lot of people will wear a kerchief or a scarf, but that's really up to you. But as tempting as it may be to take a picture, I would suggest refraining from being on your phone, just because a lot of people who go to the Kotel on Shabbat observe Shabbat and they do not use phones on Shabbat. And so to be respectful of the place and of the atmosphere and of the people, try not to be on your phone. Before going any further into logistics about the Kotel, I want to explain what it is. So Kotel just means wall in Hebrew. In English, a lot of people call the Kotel the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall, because it is a thing that people get very emotional at the Kotel, so that is why it's called the Wailing Wall. Now, to put it into historical context, there were 2 holy temples in Jerusalem, and this Kotel is the western retaining wall of the temple. People say that the Kotel is the holiest site in Judaism, which they're not wrong, but they're also not fully right. Really, the Kotel is the retaining wall of where the temple once stood, and the holiest part is, in Hebrew, it's called Har HaBayit, and in English, that would be Temple Mount. So it's surrounding Temple Mount. If you want to find out more historical information, there is a really cool tour called the Kotel Tunnel Tours that goes really into depth. In Israel, it is totally normal to go through security in places where outside of Israel you probably wouldn't have to, so that includes the Kotel. There are 3 main entrances to the Kotel, and in each place there's security. You just put your bag on a conveyor belt, it scans it like in the airport, and then you go through a metal detector. In Judaism, there's a concept of ritual purity and impurity, which is a longer discussion, but there are some things that we do to uphold those traditions, including ritually washing our hands before actually going up to the wall. The Kotel is a place that really anyone can come to pray and connect to God, and that can look different for lots of different people. So they do have Siddurim, prayer books, and books of Tehillim, Psalms, that you can borrow and say there. It's also a custom to write a note, and you just really write out everything and then put it into the Kotel. But ultimately, you can do whatever you want. If you want to just sit at the wall and look at it, great. If you want to sit and meditate, great. There really is no one set way. A lot of people say, well, what if I don't connect to the Kotel? And that's okay. It can be something really hard to connect to. I suggest just learning about it and even just understanding the history of Judaism and the Kotel, I think, is really, really important. The other day, I went to an army tekes, an army ceremony at the Kotel, and it's just so normal that in Israel, a ton of army services happen at the Kotel, and I think that's a test to how strong the connection is to Jews and Jerusalem and having that history and the temple. I hope that this was helpful and informative. If you have any more questions about the Kotel or really anything in general, please let me know down below, and have a great day.